I've been Facebooking the Talk Heathen page with various memes that I stumbled across. And one of them had friendly topic starters for having arguments with people that you don't want to hate when you're done talking to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to the conclusion that may or may not be correct about the types of conclusions you can have having an argument.
Okay.
You can have a demonstrable fact that you can show others and they have to agree with you or be illogical. You can have a difference of opinion that may or may not shift one proponent towards your opinion or vice versa. Or you can have the conclusion that your argument is stupid, come back with a better one.
You know, I think Dan is probably the best person to talk about this one.
Yeah, well, so when we're talking about arguments, I think it all matters about the attitude, about how we're going into the argument. If your argument, if your goal in engaging with someone about something talking about whether something is true or not, it should be an investigation of the truth together. It should be like a partnership almost. Your goal shouldn't be, I'm trying to convince you that my position is right. It should be more along the lines of, I think, in my opinion, like, let's try to find the truth together. What are good methods of trying to find this truth? What methods are you using? Are those methods reliable? Again, it's kind of different from from what I do. I don't really do a debate structure kind of. It's more of a investigation, kind of like a journalism almost of what people believe and stuff. And I'm talking strictly from a street epistemology perspective, which is mainly my focus in conversations. So yeah, it's a little bit different from what people typically understand as, you know, a debate format. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, discovering what is true, reaching a true conclusion would be, I have reached a demonstrable fact, and I want to share it with you. It can be true and concordant with reality together.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't work with an argument that might not have a truth value or a null truth value. It just doesn't have one.
Yeah, if you believe something to be true, though, you should be able to demonstrate it, and I think that's the most important part. You know.
Right. Yes. And
so
I could hold a truth value. You could hold a separate truth value, and oddly enough, they can both be equally valid. We're trying to change each other's minds, and we just can't. There might be a problem with a definition. There might be a problem with, well, it is both X and Y, and we're not really sure how, but we're stuck, and we have to explore it further.
Right. See, at that point,
I'm just done listening to you.
Yeah, and there is a certain point where it's like, well, it could be this, but there's a difference between saying it could be this, it could be that, or I know that it's this, and I know that it's that, because sometimes we often conflate that as well. So,
I've got to say, I'm sorry, I'm looking in the live chat, and I see a good friend. His name's Steve McRae, and he's one of the hosts
I saw he's in the chat.
Non Sequitur show.
Yeah.
And his head is currently exploding right now. He is just, he's really upset, and I know we're going to have a really great talk about that, so I'm really excited. Steve, I love you, man.
We all love Steve.
Hey, you watch the Non Sequitur show?
More so Kyle. Anyway.
Kyle's amazing.
Every now and then. Kyle's.
Okay.
Anyway, something about a pepperoni. No, that's anyway, right, where was I?
You were calling in about different types of arguments and which ones are worth having?
Right. And, well, the third one is, that's a stupid question, come back with a better question, because this is, I can give you examples of them.
Okay.
Let's see. For one that reaches a demonstrable fact, does a straw have one hole or two? Simple drinking straw, one that you drink out, one hole or two. There is a correct answer, and I can demonstrate it, but I want to hear your opinion.
I mean, I've gotten some straws at McDonald's that only had like the one side open, so I don't know if that counts.
Well, I guess it would be one that goes all the way through.
Correct, and I can demonstrate that it's only. Some people think it's two, and they're wrong. Think, if you will, a donut.
Right.
A regular donut that you eat, bagel, whatever you want. That is a mathematical shape called a torus. A torus only has one surface.
Right.
There's a hole going. What I can do with properties of math that I can pronounce because they're Greek is I can stretch that torus straight up and make it thinner.
And you have a straw.
And it's still a torus, and it has now become a straw.
Oh, I like that. You know, actually, I was playing with these mind teaser puzzles. You know, where it looks like there's a ring that's stuck inside, and you have to try and get it out using different things, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it makes me think about that you have to realize that it was never truly inside. You know, that there's this whole.
Right.
Yeah, I love those puzzles.
I could start talking about four-dimensional shapes, but thinking about them hurts my head. So,
yes, and we want to keep this as even-keeled so everyone can enjoy the show too.
Relatively thinking easy as possible. So here's a fact that I don't know if it'll blow your mind or not. So remember our donut. Remember that we can turn our donut into a straw, and it's still technically a donut. A coffee mug is also a donut. A donut, a straw, and a coffee mug are all technically the same shape.
I mean, I guess I could see that. That's not a definitive side, except the bottom, maybe? I don't know. No? Okay.
No, it is all one surface with a hole in the hand.
So if I were to take a block of clay and mold it into a cube, would that still be one surface?
Cubes have...
Is everything donuts?
Are we all donuts?
It would have to have a hole in the middle.
Well, we have a hole in the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you have a hole going directly through you, right? So, am I a donut?
Well, yeah, the human body is, the digestive system is all one really long tube.
Right.
That's disgusting.
Tell me I'm a donut.
Yeah, we're donuts, right?
Yeah, to an extent, yeah.
Okay.
Why are we so excited about being donuts?
I don't know. It just felt right.
I want to be a frosted donut.
Demonstrable.
You're all right.
Conclusion 1, demonstrable fact. I can show it to you. We can be true together.
Okay.
Okay.
Second argument. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Okay. Well, hold on. We don't want to break the internet here. Okay. We got to take this one step at a time.
I'm already pretty sure that
I already know the sandwich argument.
Particular meme broke Facebook. That's
Everything is a sandwich or nothing is a sandwich.
Yeah, I don't want my first appearance on Talk Heathen for me to go down in flames because I gave the wrong answer.
Or he tried to divide by 0. And
that's the fun part about this particular argument, is that depending on the definitions you use or the constructions of a sandwich, or does a sandwich have to be 2 separate slices of bread?
Yeah.
It needs to be pastrami on rye with a pickle on the side and mustard. Good.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you mentioned that because, like,
fight me.
Kind of like what I was saying earlier, especially when doing a street epistemology approach, you have to approach people on their definitions if you really want to make sense to people.
I have an opinion in my head of, is a hot dog a sandwich? Someone else's opinion might differ because we're using a different definition. So this is what you use. Well, this is what I use. You see how I can get from A to B, and I agree with you. You can get from A to B as well. Are we stuck? Do we actually vehemently agree that we're agreeing? That's what I'm getting at.
I would say
difference of opinion.
I would say no, it's not necessarily a difference of opinion, only because if you can demonstrate the method by which you can come to your conclusion, and your conclusion involving the definitions that you use, then that would be valid. You just have to understand it based on those kinds of definitions. Because even if you're using different definitions, you can still demonstrate the reliability of the methods that you're using. That makes sense?
As could they, which is my point.
Say again, sorry?
As could they. Like, I can show you A goes to B, B goes to C, therefore A is C. Well, X goes to Y, Y goes to Z.
But your A and their A might be different, slightly very different, and therefore their B's might be slightly different. Does that make sense? Because you may be using the same words, but the definitions still matter. And that's going to make the difference in how you communicate with people. So unless you're using the exact same definitions on every single point of what matters in a conversation, which most human beings don't, then there's going to be some discrepancies. But that doesn't mean that like arguments are just useless and they don't get us anywhere. It's just that there's kind of semantics in language. Yeah.
All right.
Wrong.
So let's get to your third one because I want to get to the next call, but I want to give you the full.
Yeah, the third one is just stupid argument. Come back to better argument. Cake or pie?
What?
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Okay. Glad you had an answer. I would say pie, but why is irrelevant at this point?
Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because what are you going to reach for? Are you going to eat the frosting out of the jar, or are you going to eat the fucking cake filling out of the can? No one knows that. Right? That's one of my favorite comedians pointed that out. I was like, you know what? Fuck, that's right. Cake.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
The question.
Okay. That's what we call a spiritual
cake
truth.
Or pie is a stupid question.
Right.
Because there's no context to it.
Right.
Which one is more sweeter? Which one do you prefer? Is cheesecake a pie?
Sure. I gotcha. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Granted, I can come back to it in 5 seconds with a better argument. Do you prefer cake or pie?
Well, I just...
Because there's just no context to the first question.
Right.
We're all just stardust.
Is my point for the that's a stupid question, come back with a better one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I say pie because I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
This has been a fun conversation.
This is interesting. Yeah. Thanks for calling.
You hang up on me, and I'm totally agreeing that we have reached a good stopping point. I'm glad we did. Let me just say that TAG, the Transcendental Argument of God, needs some help and would still be wrong.
I only got part of that. Say that one more time, and then we're going to let you go.
The TAG argument.
The transcendental argument for the existence of God.
Okay.
Needs some help. It's not quite sound yet. And once it is, it would still be wrong.
Oh, see, now you're just being a tease. All right. I do want to get to the next call, but call back, and we'll tease apart a couple other arguments.
Or go to the Facebook group.
Ooh, yeah, or the Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get other people in on that.
Or I'll see you in September.
Sounds good to me.
There you go.
All right. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Cool.
Take care, buddy.
Transcendental pies. You ever had a pie so good you called it transcendental? I don't know if I have, but...
No.
Yeah.
But I want that pie.
Yeah. What would it taste like? Can you taste transcendental pies?
I feel like I'm not in the right state of mind for that.
Yeah,
question.
me neither.
No. I feel like I need to be inebriated in some form.